the intro. We're just gonna go into it, if that's cool with you.
All right.
Sure.
I think we're already live, so.
Yeah. Okay. So we're already.
All right.
All right. So looks like we got Thunder God 75 Comics already in the chat waiting. Thanks for hanging out so much. This is our cool review show that we do weekly. So without further ado, I am Tony Fett. It rotates channels, so this is my turn. And I want to go ahead and introduce our cool guest, Rob Worst, the best worst. Take just a second, Rob, and talk about any social media you got. Where can we find you?
Well, if you were looking for me on Twitter, you'll find me at just Rob Worst, ROBWORST. It's okay to laugh. Everyone else does. If you're looking for me on Twitter, it's Rob Worst _NNM, because I run a little show called Not Near Mint. It's on my YouTube channel, also Rob Worst. And we do a show every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm joined by Lady Fantastic, as well as Miracle Man from Twitter, as well as the new arrival, Comics on the Mind, Kirk. He just joined our show as of Wednesday, so we do discussions weekly. We start off every show showing new books that we just picked up, as well as hauls over the course of a week, and then we dive into discussion on whatever pops into our mind. And I show a lot of books like this.
yeah. And just by looking at your background, looks like you've been collecting for a while.
Oh, about 30 years uninterrupted. Have not missed a new Comic Book Wednesday in over 30 years.
Wow. That's awesome.
Oh, wow.
That's a long time.
Of the Death of Superman saga, of course. So I'll go through with that as everyone else introduces.
Yeah, let's pop it over to Tim, one of the three amigos on this channel. Tim, you want to take just a hot second and talk about yourself?
Sure. I'm Tim. I'm the comic collector. On YouTube, I'm the comic collector. Instagram, Tim the comic collector. I do this show
Hold on.
my buddies Dave.
Tim, can you repeat your Instagram one more time for Squatchy? He gets it wrong.
Yeah. Tim the comic collector. I guess I found out Squatchy had a whole conversation with someone he thought was me for like 2 weeks. What wasn't me, but I do this show with my buddies Tony and Dave. Every week rotates our channels. Starting this Friday, I'm starting a show called The Phantom Zone. It's a Superman show where we review Superman books with
Did Rob fall off the earth? I think maybe his chair broke.
Too many cameras in the room.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, you were saying. Sorry, Tim.
Yeah, it's a Superman show. We're just going to review Superman books, talk Superman. It's me, Super Russ, and Retro Tigo. And I do live hunts and comic hauls. I just did a live haul right before the show started. So
very cool.
Check that out if you get a chance.
Very cool. And Comic Foo, I know you do the cool mystery show. What about you? Any social media cool stuff coming up?
Yeah, so tomorrow, if everything goes to plan, I'm intending on having an auction on my channel. I've got some extra books to get rid of, and so we're going to be selling those real cheap. Other than that, I've got I've got the Mystery Men that I do on Tuesdays. We're now doing it every other Tuesday, and then what is it, Tim? Next Sunday, right? Is it Sunday?
I believe it's not tomorrow. The next Sunday, 8 days from now. I think at 5 or 6 p.m.
Yeah, we're still
somewhere in through there.
Just worked this out right beforehand, but it might still change some. But Tim and I Collect a Lot and Stevie B Comics are going to start up a new monthly show called the Dollar Bin Trolls, where we will be competing to see who can pick up the best books for $1 or less.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome. Yeah, I've definitely been checking out your cool mystery box show you do with your crew there. That's definitely been a lot of fun. Some really cool stuff you guys have come across. I wish I had some of the luck that you guys do. I always just get stuff that you'd find in like the 50-cent bin. But
Yeah.
it's great to hand the stuff of that out, like for kids and stuff. I know you've got some little ones. Do they enjoy
75
reading books as
cents.
well?
What's that?
Do your kids enjoy reading books as well?
Yeah, mainly my youngest. He's an avid reader, and so all I have to do is just leave a comic book in his room, and the next day it mysteriously ends back up in my office. And I ask him, he's like, "Yeah, I read it."
What's
So,
is he into a specific run right now, or does he mainly read a specific character?
he's got two characters he really likes. One I'm not allowed to mention on this show.
Sure, okay.
But the second one is Hawkman.
Hawkman, very cool.
Yeah, isn't that cool for like a little
That
kid?
is really cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like not like an A or a B character.
Yeah,
So
it's such
just
an
see a young
interesting choice.
Hawkman fan.
And it didn't come from me. I know very little about the character. He just
Very
honed
cool.
in on it, and he even went to the store one time, and he had like these action figures in his hand. I know I shouldn't talk about my kids all this, but he had these action figures in his hands. He was all set to get it because I told him, hey, he had $20 he could spend, and he was all excited. And then he saw the Silver Age Hawkman on the wall, and he looks at me and he says, "Can I put these back to get that book?" I'm like, "Yeah."
That's very
So,
cool. Very cool. Good for him. Glad that he is really into it. Especially we need to get the younger generation into the hobby.
Yeah.
That's the only way it moves forward. But that's
just as long as they don't watch
cool.
these videos.
Hey,
You know,
that's
you-
a whole nother thing.
You know what you got to get him, Dave? If he loves Hawkman, you got to get him some Justice Society books, like
Oh, yeah.
All-Star Squadron, stuff like that.
Society 3.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. So let's dive in. Let's talk about some news. A little bit of news going on. But Tim, what have you discovered in the DC world of news?
I didn't see a lot of news this week, but I saw an article today that was talking about Jim Lee at C2E2, sort of going off of what we were talking of last week.
Yep.
And I guess the big points are he's going to be the sole publisher. They're not going to replace Dan DiDio. And he sort of, well, he said DC's been around 85 years. It's going to be around 85 more, sort of quashing that it's going to be sold to Marvel or go out of business.
Yep.
But I guess he didn't really give a legit answer on if 5G is happening or not happening.
It's happening.
Well,
So-
they did mention a little bit about it, though. They walked back the scope of it some. So
Yeah.
what they said was like it's too far underway, and I think things have already come out in like the Wonder Woman, right?
Yeah.
But that it's not going to be a complete line-wide reboot as we originally thought. So
Yeah.
it sounds like some of our characters may be saved.
Well,
Thank
I was
God.
watching Comic Pop, and they were talking about this, sort of what you said, and I like what he said. They might not be able to stop it, but some easy fix would be to boot where, like, the different characters take over main roles. Just boot that to Black Label, and if it's a big success, you could bring it to the main line. I kind of like that. I hope if that's what they do, if they do it.
Yeah. And you know what? I think we've been saying all along, bring in new characters, right? Like, I mean, we want to see that. Just you don't have to get rid of our old ones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that infuriates me that they would even consider, getting rid of that, but because they're such good characters.
Yeah.
If you're introducing a line wide of brand new characters without having earned their appeal, and you just say, this is the new stuff, that old stuff, well, that still exists in trades and older issues. So if you want old Batman, old Superman, old Wonder Woman, you're going to have to go over there to read that because we're going to spit on the fans. We're introducing this the way we want to because we're a corporate entity and you're going to buy whatever we tell you to.
Yeah.
Confronting us like that really angers a lot of fans. Me, I'm just curious to see how this shit show is going to go down. But no matter what, I'm still going to be picking it up because you see me trying to get rid of this at any time soon.
Yeah, it's definitely been.
It will cause me to pick up less titles, though.
Yeah.
There's only a
Yes.
few must-have titles for me in either DC or Marvel. So Green Lantern, Superman, and Batman, yeah, they're not going anywhere.
So the three of us, Rob, if you don't know, big Green Lantern fans, but I want to get your 2 cents on this. I know you got a ton of Green Lantern. See, we should have had.
I have almost every issue of Green Lantern going back from this issue.
Yeah, I believe it.
Oh,
I
wow.
believe
All the
it.
way to today.
So as I don't think I've ever asked you this, but how do you feel about Far Sector?
So Far Sector, I've only read the first 2 issues, but if you're looking at it from a Grant Morrison standpoint, not as easily accessible if you're not a longtime reader of Green Lantern. But if you're somebody just jumping on board going, hey, I want to know what this Green Lantern's all about. Brand new hero, still has a bit of a legacy, and still should be pretty interesting to read. So I'm all for Far Sector. I hope it goes pretty far instead of like the 12-issue typical for Young Animal titles.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sold on Far Sector.
So I just held up. This is the book from this past week. I just got this.
Yeah.
You saw the artwork. I really like Jamal Campbell on Naomi. I really hate it in Far Sector.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
No,
I tried, but I don't know. It's just it's a strange way to draw.
Are you gonna drop it or keep going?
Oh no, I can't drop it.
You can't drop it. Can't drop
No,
it.
that's
Okay.
part of the contract.
Oh, fair enough. Tim, what's your
Far
take?
Sector to me is sort of what a Green Lantern book should be. Like Green Lantern at its worst is when it just focuses on one person and that person's life and trials.
And
Green Lantern should be about meeting new cultures, new species, meeting new lanterns. And right from the first issue, it's a new culture, new alien races, how they live, how they think, and it's different. You know what I mean? That to me, that's what Green Lantern should be about. That's why Green Lantern Corps was so good. It was a rotating cast of people. That's my take on it.
No, I agree with all that. I don't think there's something about the execution for me.
Yeah. It's sort of like it's a murder mystery, sort of, is what it's building into.
Well, you could take a great story, and if you have a writer and an artist that's not 100% on par, you can really do some damage, and no one would ever know it's a great story. Any other news other than Jim Lee not taking over, or they're not going to fill Dan Didio's spot? I know there's a lot of speculation, but that's just speculation and not necessarily news.
I mean, it does really look like they're trying to lay the groundwork just in case DC winds up licensing all of their publishing end titles over to Marvel. Yeah. Looking at the Thor one-shot that came out a few weeks ago, you saw all the different characters that have held Mjolnir. So you had Superman holding the hammer. You had Wonder Woman holding the hammer. You go and jump on over to Doomsday Clock. They're talking about other worlds with a green behemoth. You take a look at Young Justice issue 12, where you have this character Arachna, where even the webs are the very Todd McFarlane-esque sort of webs. They've been laying the groundwork just in case, because as much as Jim Lee protests, it's like having the president of the company go, hey, you want to keep your job? Get out there in front of the camera and just spout these lines.
Pretty much. It's definitely something I don't want to see happen. That's for sure. I think
if you don't merge the two and you keep them separate, I'm good.
No, I want to keep Thanos Mickey off my DC books.
Hey, Tony, in the chat, Scott asked a question. I want to see if Dave could answer it.
This one.
Yeah. Can you, Dave?
Go ahead, Dave. Green Lantern Oath, go for it.
In brightest day and blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. For those that worship evil's might, beware my power, Green Lantern's might.
All right. Awesome.
All right, now for $1,000, if you can do the Indigo Lantern Oath.
Yeah, I can't do any. I don't know any of those oaths.
But back when Jeff Johns was doing it, we all wanted to know what all the oaths were going to be for the Still Core.
Oh yeah, and a lot of them were good. I just can't remember them.
Yeah. The Indigo one's like a made-up language too, so it's like, who knows?
people.
Yeah. Knock, knock, knock.
Yeah, there's a couple knocks in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh man.
But okay, so that ties up the news. So let's dive in to our read for the week, and that is Tales of the Dark Multiverse, Death of Superman. This was a really awesome read. Just real quick off the bat, can you see this character coming back?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
Oh yeah.
they opened that up at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, they did, but I mean, I've seen them do that with other stuff before, and it not really work out at all. But I agree. I can see this character making a comeback somehow.
I mean, if you're
Batman
going to
Who
ask
Laughs.
that question up front, I'm going to give my score up front. I've got this at like a 23. I love this book so much.
This was a good book. This was a really good book. Yeah.
Oh yeah. This was the first one of the Dark Multiverses, right? Was it Nightfall?
No, Nightfall was first. Nightfall was first.
Nightfall, okay.
Pretty sure Nightfall, then Death of Superman, then Blackest Night.
I thought they were batting 1,000 with these until Blackest Night. That was probably the one of all of them I didn't care for. I liked all of them but that one. Weirdly enough, being a Lantern fan.
No, I agree. It wasn't that great. We reviewed that, right, Tim?
We talked about it like in our new book segment one week, I think.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this was definitely a great read, and I really enjoy it. Rob's got a massive collection of Death of Superman
Superboy
stuff.
Prime.
Right there.
This is what she reminds me of the most. Superboy Prime. Sure,
Right.
this was a character that you didn't see for a good couple decades until they re-released Superboy Prime. In which one? It was one of the Identity Crisis.
Yeah, Identity Crisis.
That was
the
the
one.
second book I ever had.
Oh yeah.
So if they can reintroduce a character like that, where you have a Lois Lane filled with vengeance that just watched Superman die twice, yeah, she's going to come back as a villain as Eradicator, because she's more interesting as a villain than just a Superman Eradicator. So yeah, she can definitely come back, and I would not mind it at all.
Yeah, very, very good. So getting into the actual book, the Guardian of the Dark Multiverse. Anybody know how to pronounce his name?
Tempest Fugit or something?
Yeah.
Fugnot?
Fugnot. That's what I was saying. Fugnot. So
yeah. So if if you give me a second here, I looked up some information on him.
Go for it.
Because he is an interesting character. The book starts with this character, Tempest Fugnot. And he kind of starts out by reflecting on why the dark even exists and how it can twist even the most tragic of stories. Obviously, you know where it's going, right? But so this guy belongs to the Fugnot race, and they are cosmic beings that exist to prevent intrusions from other universes, especially the Dark Multiverse. His first appearance was in Sideways #1 from April 2018, created by Dan Didio,
Wow.
Justin Jordan, and Kenneth Rocafort. Now, this is the one bit of trivia I did have, but I don't think it's fair because it is in the book, like you can see it, but it's hard to see. Does anybody know which limb he is missing?
His right arm?
His right arm. Did you notice that?
I didn't notice it until you said it, and then I just looked because I just happened to have the page open.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you count that as a win, but I didn't even notice. Or maybe is it really missing?
He's missing his right arm.
And for those of you who don't know what he looks like, let me get here. So he's a interesting character.
Oh yeah.
So since you guys mentioned Dan DiDio before we move on, one of the funniest things I heard is, do you think it's a coincidence that Wally, who's one of the characters Dan DiDio hates, got the powers of Dr. Manhattan and the Mobius chair, and then suddenly Dan's fired?
I think it had a lot more to do with the way he managed things than just one individual thing. It's like anything else in any job. When you're going to get fired, it's not one thing usually. It's just a mountain of crap until they finally go, you know what? We're going to do it on a Friday. We've been planning this for some time. Because if you fire someone on a Friday at 10:30 in the morning, that shit's been planned.
Oh, hey, you know when it's, in my opinion, when it started was the bat penis. That was the first time I ever heard of Warner Brothers showing up at DC offices and firing people. But you've been hearing it more and more and more since the bat penis. So I think that instigated all of it.
First appearance of Batwang started this whole controversy. Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone has a boss.
Like, who thought that was a good idea? Like,
I don't know, but I legit... Dan Didio.
Brian Azzarello.
I got mine when I was way before the whole controversy. And I actually got one of the last ones in the shop, and people were like offering me like $50 cash right there on the spot for it. But I never did. I still have it.
Didn't one sell for like $1,200, like a 9.8?
Yeah, it was a 9.8 and it had all the autographs on it, authenticated and everything.
That's insane. That's insane.
Oh, we have a comment down here from Thunder God 75 Comics. Do you think that death metal will bring the dark multiverse characters into the regular storylines?
It's very possible.
They're technically it's all continuity. It's just parallel Earths.
Yeah, I mean,
because technically that's happened with Batman Who Laughs and so forth. They're in the main.
Batman Who Laughs, it was actually featured in this book as part of the Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like any other parallel Earth. At any time, one of the main characters could go there, or one of them could come here. It's just up to the writer.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
but getting back in the story here. So the Tempest I can't even say his name. Fugnot. Tempest Fugnot.
Fugnot.
Fugnot, yeah.
They can introduce a character in a what if, and 20, almost 30 years later, they introduce it in regular continuity. Weirder things have happened.
And then give it a movie.
Speaking of weird things happening, it's pretty weird when it's Tim that's pronouncing things correctly and teaching Tim how to say it.
What about Mixoplex? That's correct, ain't it? Come on now.
Mixoplex.
Is spit lick.
Is it Tempest Grant?
Tempest Grant. Tempest Grant.
Yeah.
One of these days, they're going to introduce a cosmic character from millions of light years away, and his name's going to be like Paul or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
My name's John. Like, okay. But anyway, diving back into the story here. So Tempest Fugnot is the guardian, or he's watching the universe, and I guess he's seen the dark multiverse before. And he goes on like an inner monologue about, how this kind of thing happens. But I think where it really starts to pick up, obviously, is where Doomsday is fighting Superman. Just look at that art on that; it's pretty sick. One thing that surprised me about this book is that they kept the characters like the same in terms of how they look. Which, I mean, it'd be stupid if they didn't, because this is like supposed to be the alternative version of that.
Stood out.
What's that?
There's one character, at least for me, really stood out. Like, it really was like, whoa, wait, what am I looking at?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Is it Lex?
No, it was Hal.
Oh,
Hal's got like the gray hair and all. Like, it was totally like,
yeah.
That's Hal. It's old school Hal.
Yeah, that was Hal right as he was about to become Parallax. And I love the fact that they just picked it right up from the point that he was dead, and now we're going to go in a different direction with Lois Lane. So it played out just as it did in the books that I'm showing now. But then moving on forward into the future, they were bringing up other storylines that were happening in other books. And I thought as a story as a whole, not only did it capitalize on what came before, it built on it in ways that like What If used to back in the 70s, 80s. So it was a fantastic story in and of itself, but I have not read any of the other Dark Multiverse titles.
Oh, you should.
Yeah.
For the most part, they're all
good. From what I understand, they're all good. But yeah, this one picks up literally Lois is holding Superman in his last few moments.
And I think it was an accident that her tears are all black, right?
Yeah.
I never really noticed. I mean, I saw that they were black, but I really didn't think about it. Is it like that in whatever page this is stolen from? Or her tears are mask?
So,
no, I don't think so.
I was going to say maybe.
That's where they brought back the artist Norm Ratmund.
Yeah.
Just to give it that feeling.
That would make sense because that particular person's art is, what made the page. That would make sense for them to do that. But anyway, so yeah, Clark Kent, Superman dies, and Lois is obviously not happy. Man, I can't figure out my own camera here. But instead of her being super grief-stricken like she was in the real Death of Superman storyline, she's actually angry. So when all of the heroes show up, after it's already too late, she says, where all of you? Like, he needed you, and none of you were here. He had to do this on his own, which is unlike Lois Lane to just be mean. And I thought this line in particular, especially like on this page, this one really stuck out to me the most. How Lois Lane is in the crowd watching Superman's procession come by, and she said they really just like to be seen.
Yeah, I wanted to point that out. Who's the camera zoom in on when she says these heroes just like to be seen?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Hal Jordan in the Flash.
Hal Jordan.
Yeah, but she's really angry about this. Yeah,
how can she be mad at Hal? He's got the entire sector to patrol. He can't do it all.
I'm sure.
The big blue guy for one little planet.
Yeah, I'm sure Hal isn't gonna, do anything crazy soon.
But I like how they kept Grizzly Adams Lex Luthor. That was really cool. I'm glad they kept that. But it's not a very long book, so I'll kick it off to Tim to continue off for the unveiling of the Superman statue.
Yeah, so the whole rest of this book is basically from Lois's inner dialogue, is taking you through the book. And it's interesting, like, haven't you guys ever thought when you were a kid, what would you do with Superman's powers? Or
all the time.
Maybe when you were young, just starting out, hard up on cash, you feel your job isn't paying you, the government's screwing you. What would you do if you got Superman's powers then? You could look at all the different ways people might take that, and that's basically what we get to see here is, what would this person do if they got Superman's powers? But of course, at first, we see Lex giving a speech with the unveiling of the statue, and he's talking about a fund on this page here. I guess this page, sorry. All this money raised is going to go into a fund that's going to help like orphans or something. Lois is noticing Superman paraphernalia. And now
people trying to profit off it. I think that's one of the things she said. Like, I can't believe people are trying to profit off the death. Yeah.
And her first thought is,
sorry, the vendor that's selling the shirt, it's like a bloody Superman symbol shirt.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think though the whole time is like, where can I get me one of those?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That's like it's the same kind of symbol as Rob was showing on the Platinum edition. Like that same kind of design. But her first thought is, with what Superman did, the world's going to see it. The world's going to change. And you can see here, these are headlines of things going wrong. And now she's starting to blame humanity. Humanity didn't deserve Superman. So she goes and visits, on the next page, the Kents. And of course, his father's had a heart attack like he did in the comics in real continuity. And I like this line here. We're talking about sort of like what you mentioned. She couldn't even get up to the line at the funeral. Someone who knew him. The heroes are front and center. Well, his parents had to watch it on TV. And I know this is short.
Jonathan Kent. He may never wake up.
Yeah. And this is short, so I'll kick it over to whoever wants to pick up from there.
Who wants it? Rob, you're cool. You're the cool hotshot guest. Go for it.
I'm not cool. I've spent most of my life trying to be cool, only to realize I am not.
Anyone with that many comics is cool. It's
right.
Even amongst our community, maybe.
Yeah.
My last name is worse. I know I will never raise above that low bar.
Till you have to move, then it's not so cool anymore.
62 long boxes. Good luck with that.
You got to hire someone for that.
Right? Super Russ in the house. Talking about his favorite story.
So moving on from that part of the story, you now get this tragedy that now that Superman is dead, we're starting to follow the lines of what was going on with Funeral for a Friend, but we're now seeing that Lois, instead of going through her acceptance part of it, she's just stuck in anger mode. So in that anger, when you finally have the Eradicator show up in this energy form, he's ready to go say, hey, I just put Superman into the life matrix and everything will be cool. But hey, guess what? There's no body for me to go into. I'm just going to dissipate. And she goes, use me. But you're just human and you'll die. I'm like, don't care. I am ready to do what my husband left off doing. Go ahead and use me. And she did not realize how much power he really had. So much to the point that when she starts going after not just the bankers, but the people that are behind the bankers, the people behind the weapons manufacturers. I'm sure if Marvel was integrated in this universe, she would have murdered the hell out of Tony Stark. So she's going after all these people. The world is afraid of her. So much to the point that when she goes to take on Batman, she uses all the psychology she knows about Bruce to say, he pitied you this entire time because he knows you'll never give up. It's like, no, I never do. And just that one panel of her, no, and just turns him into dust. I'll let somebody else pick it up from there. But when Superman finally does come back to the living in that black uniform again, he's like, why is everybody afraid of you, Lois? And that's when the horror sets in. Oh my God, what have I done?
All right.
So,
go ahead, Dave. You're on the clock.
Yeah. So, in addition to taking on Batman or taking out Batman, she also takes out an entire list of villains. She burns LexCorp to the ground. Well, actually, she goes to see Lex, and Lex laughs at her, and he starts like going down the list of all of his crimes, laughing about it. Like, yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. You know, Superman learned long time ago, he can't stop me, right? And she grabs him by the throat, flies him through the atmosphere at super speed as he's disintegrating it, burning up in the atmosphere in her hands. Like,
the best part was she grabs him by the throat, and before she flies up, goes, he was Clark Kent.
I'm not.
And you see Lex's reaction, and then boom.
Yeah, I felt like it was almost like a scene out of that. What's the name of that movie? Brightburn. It felt like that. Like it was like, oh man.
I still gotta see that movie. I still haven't seen it.
Oh, you gotta see it. It's so good.
Yeah.
So after Lex, she burns all of LexCorp to the ground. She burns the League of Shadows to the ground. She burns Cadmus to the ground.
Ooh, Cadmus, everything.
Ra's al Ghul, Victor Zsasz, Ares, Black Adam. She disintegrates them. Deathstroke, Parasite, and even the Joker. Just blast them.
I love this panel.
Oh, I love that the final thing he did was laugh.
Yeah, the Joker's running, and boom, she sails up at super speed. Eyes are glowing.
Yeah.
Fantastic art.
And he's like, ha!
Yeah.
One thing I do have to say about when Lex Luthor starts just vomiting out all this information of what he's done, as though, what are you going to do to me, Lois? what, he has not been paying attention to world news that she's been murdering all these people around the world in such gruesome, high-powered fashion to go, wait a second, she's now here in front of me. Maybe I should try and make a deal. No, he just thinks that we're playing by the same old rules. And those rule book is gone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it continues on. The continuity on this one is pretty good because it really does follow the original story. The other Supermen show up, the reign of the Supermen. Yeah. So you got Steel, you got Superboy, and you've got Cyborg Superman. And Cyborg Superman is
she's the Eradicator.
She's the Eradicator. One. Yeah, she's the Eradicator. But Cyborg Superman is the only one that she is interested in because he is claiming to actually be the real Superman, and she knows he is not. So Tony, why don't I pass it back to you?
Sure, no problem. So yeah, cool panel. Let me switch one of these. Where is it? Come on, right here. So I definitely want to show off the panel you're talking about. So there she is, getting ready to take on Cyborg Superman, and you're right. It's only because he claimed to be the actual Man of Steel brought back, which we know isn't true. There's a line in here. I don't remember what panel it's on. She said that it even sounded like him, which was like really creepy, which is kind of funny. And then obviously this big battle ensues between Lois and Cyborg Superman, and then the other two come.
Well, and in that battle too, Cyborg Superman clearly has the upper
he's
hand.
No joke. Yeah, he's definitely in for the long haul. That's for sure. But Superboy and Steel come to help out Lois, and then Cyborg Superman. I don't know if you can see it. Superboy is actually taking out or trying to fight Cyborg Superman, but actually does not go well for him. Cyborg Superman definitely takes out Superboy with very little effort at all. And it even says it right here, like, don't waste my time.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool.
And in a suit.
Yeah. So obviously Superboy is down for the count, and Steel comes in trying to help out, but he doesn't fare much better.
Steel gets turned into this.
Yeah, just like that.
Like butter.
That's a really good analogy, Rob.
Like
I like
butter.
that. That's a really good analogy. So now you have this epic showdown fight between Lois Lane and Cyborg Superman.
And she's really no match for him.
She really isn't. She really isn't a match. So the fighting ensues. There's a lot of, there really isn't much back and forth. Cyborg Superman, like Dave said, really is the better of the two, and they cause just a ton of damage. And
in fact, they made a point of mentioning that innocent civilians are dying all around them.
Yeah, and right here
she's aware of it.
Yeah, it says it right here in this panel. It's kind of blurry. I don't know why it won't focus, but it even says, I can hear the civilians getting crushed under the rubble.
Yeah, Superman never would have done that.
Yeah.
No. In fact, that was a big talking point during Death of Superman.
Yeah, it was.
It was. And speaking of Superman, here he comes, black suit and really awesome mullet and all.
Yeah.
And the very first thing he does
is save some folks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is typical Superman. So obviously that he comes back. Lois is just as confused as Superman is. Like, hey, where'd you get all these superpowers? And Lois is like, hey, you're alive. This is awkward.
Yeah.
Superman's like, hey, you're a serial killer.
Yeah. And Superman, one thing that he pointed out was, especially in this first panel here, I'm back and everything is going to be, and he kind of looks around, and he kind of says to Lois, like, "Hey, why does everyone look at you with fear? That's not what I'm about." And the ending, I'm actually going to kick over to Tim for the final 1 or 2 pages, because this is a really quick book, but it's good. It's a good one.
Sort of a bittersweet ending, because this is all from the perspective of Lois. She was upset that nobody helped Superman. Then that turned to, you're not good enough for him. She got his powers, and she did what she thought he should have did. At points in the book, she almost started blaming Superman too. So she comes face to face with him, and Cyborg Superman has this giant kryptonite gun and shoots it. So long story short, Superman's immediately dead again.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't he say some kind of cool line like, Superman's the only guy who's going to die twice or something like that? I forget exactly what he said.
Yeah. How many people get to die twice? That's what Cyborg says before he shoots it. So the thinking point, because it's just a little bit more word stuff from him, and it switches back to Tempest Fugonaut to follow her inner monologue of, these people don't deserve this, these people should have did that. And then he comes back and she realizes basically she was the worst of all. You know what I mean? She didn't deserve the power she got. And maybe you could even say she didn't deserve the relationship with Superman at the end of this, because she ended up costing him his life again.
But then it takes a weird twist, doesn't it? Like, she does not learn her lesson.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the twist.
Yeah, I mean,
Negan at the end of the series, she's still alive and kicking. Anything can happen from here.
Yeah, I mean, she almost doubled. Like, after seeing him die twice, she doubled down.
Yeah, she
while
did.
Still thinking it's her fault. It's like, it was weird, It's
just
like,
that's the point that was made here, with Superman. But then, like you said, she doubles down. But I think you almost have to, because this is Dark Multiverse.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like, she ain't gonna turn around.
No.
The point made to us as viewers is, look at this. You know what I'm saying? Like, she ended up not being the one that deserved it.
Right.
But yeah,
then she it leaves it with her just kind of like exploring the galaxy to continue on creating a universe that deserves Clark. So, I mean,
the Green Lantern would have to go up against her at some point.
And that line that she says right at the end, to create a universe that deserves Clark, to me, maybe that seems she's obviously going to come back again, and maybe she's going to come back and help fight the infected, and the Batman Who Laughs folks.
Yeah.
So maybe she's going to fight, Dark Hawkman and Dark Supergirl.
Like a Mobius chair.
Yeah.
She would be a great new villain to add to the new mix.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, or maybe even not a total villain. Maybe like kind of like almost an anti-hero, right?
Sure.
I mean, I think it's a pretty cool character. I could definitely see them doing a lot with this one. I hope they do.
Could this character that's mind is warped into thinking she's creating what Clark deserved ever side with the Batman Who Laughs?
I don't think
so.
You know
what I mean?
That's why I'm saying I almost see her as more of an anti-hero, like a Punisher type, right?
Like, I kill people, but doing it for the good cause. Yeah.
That's sort of the best thing about these one-shots. I had a few problems with Dark Knight's Metal. It was cool to see all these versions of Batman, but my first thought is, wouldn't there be other versions of other heroes? Like, where's a Dark Superman? Where's a Dark Green Lantern? So on and so forth. They wouldn't just all be Batman. You know what I mean? Well, that's what I like about these one-shots.
Yeah. So Rob is obviously not going to be 100% familiar with our grading system, so I'm going to simplify it just for us, for Rob's sake. So the question to you, Rob, is on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the absolute best comics you've ever read in your whole life, where would you put this at?
6.5, 7.
That's pretty solid. And then we also, what do you think about the artwork and the writing? Same thing.
About a 5.
5, so middle of the road. Okay, let's go to Dave and then get Dave's take on it. What about you, sir?
I really like this book. I had the cover at a 5, art at a 5, story at a 5. Continuity I struggled with because it's the dark multiverse. Like,
yeah, that's the one
Yeah.
I feel like you can't really grade this on Well, you can.
You can. So I put it at a 4, right? Because I thought they got so much right. Like they did try to follow the story, and then it just kind of took little turns. So yeah, I mean, and then again, nostalgia is a weird one, but I put it at a 4 because again, it was bringing me right back to Death of a Superman. So
Yeah,
it had a weird nostalgia to it.
exactly.
Yeah, the only thing I would ding it for is just Lex Luthor not bothering to pay attention to world news and respond to Lois the way that he did. Aside from that, continuity followed all the story beats going all the way through up and until Parallax, just stopping short.
Yeah.
Yep. Tim.
I didn't think about it ahead of time, but I think I'm gonna give story and art a 5. I'm gonna give continuity, nostalgia, and cover a 4. 'Cause, I mean, the cover, it's good, but it's nothing special. You know, it don't stand out to me.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, it's basically just black.
Very true.
But then again, look at black covers from like the 1960s and 70s. We all crave those black covers.
Yeah.
Condition.
Yes.
It's fine this thick.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna stay for a while. The only thing I didn't grade continuity because obviously it's not part of continuity. So I didn't give it any rating on continuity at all. But I gave it a 6 for story. I actually gave it a higher grade. I gave it a 7 for art. Cover, I would have to agree with Tim. It's really nothing to write home about. It's pretty obvious what's happening. If you don't even have to really read the book, you can kind of get the gist of it by looking at the cover. But overall, I would land about a 7, maybe 7.5. I liked it maybe a little bit better than Rob. It was a great book. I actually hope they do more of these. They have come out with Blackest Night. They've come out with Nightfall. I feel like I'm missing one.
You got Judas Contract, Infinite Crisis.
Yep, and Infinite Crisis. Yeah, I have all those. What am I thinking? But
Infinite Crisis may be my favorite of them all.
I kind of like the Blackest Night one. That was my favorite. That one, just because I might be biased. I'm a huge Lantern Corps guy, so I like anything with the lanterns in it. That's for sure. But yeah, I really like this book. I think we should definitely take a look at doing some more, dark multiverse stuff in the future. I really like.
If we ever do the Dark Multiverse Blackest Night, I think in the same show we should do Green Lantern. What's it called? Earth's End or World's End? Remember how they had that issue with because that's actually similar. It's all those one shots take place during the Future's End, I believe is what it is. But the Green Lantern one features Black Lanterns and Hal Jordan and almost like a Blackest Night Dark Multiverse type. It's a similar concept. It's one of my favorite one shots of all that.
Yeah. Dave, have you read a lot of the dark multiverse stuff, or is this kind of like your first sit down and really get into it in detail?
This one, and Tim and I did the Blackest Night one. So
okay,
that one.
That's cool.
We didn't full on do it. We discussed it.
Yeah,
when it came out because it was a big deal.
Yeah. This was a lot of fun. Rob, was this? I know you said you have them all, but was this like your first sit down reading some dark multiverse stuff?
Sat down to read that particular issue. I have them all. I just have not gotten around to them. I wound up filing them, kind of forgetting them until you reminded me. Oh yeah, moron! You should probably be reading these things if you're spending $5 a pop on them.
Yeah.
So I wound up doing it. So thank you.
Thank you. I will pose the same question to all of you, and I'm curious to get your answers. So I think DC is definitely going to do some more dark multiverse stuff, but what story would you like to see them do next? And we'll start with Tim.
Come back to me.
Okay, we'll move on to
Dave.
Dave.
Think a second.
Yeah, I guess I did put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Sinestro War.
Okay, Rob's gonna say Sinestro
that's
War.
a good one.
Okay, there you go. You could kind of go like, you know,
That's a real good one.
what if Sinestro won, you know, the Sinestro War? That would be cool. I would definitely pick that one up. That one would sound like a lot of fun.
Batman infected with the Yellow Lantern, where the man that already is overpowered enough as it is now being given something that will dive into everybody's worst fears. You might as well just bring back the Anti-Monitor and say, hey, why don't you become part of Batman and call it a day?
Batman was a Yellow Lantern in Forever Evil issue 3 or 4, I think.
Yeah.
But it was only for like a page and a half. It was real quick, but it was pretty cool. But I guess I would have to say a Blackest Night version of Final Crisis would have to be my pick. But looks like Thunder God 75 picked Batman Hush as his dark multiverse.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah. So what are you guys picking? What do you think? Even if it's something just off the wall.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like the big events. Now I'm blanking.
It's an interesting question because there are a ton of really good stories out there, and it would be tough to really pick one. There's a few that I would.
How about Final Crisis?
Final Crisis, yeah, that's a good one.
I know a lot of people dislike that, but I loved the first 6 issues of Final Crisis.
That would be cool. Dave's got to think of one.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know.
How about Green Lantern 76, Tales from the Dark Multiverse?
Yeah.
Or not 76, 85.
Well, what if you did? Yeah,
they all
that's a good.
shoot up with Speedy.
Yeah, they all become junkies and the world ends.
I was literally just about to say, like, oh, there you go, Superman and He-Man.
After all, it says right here, as long as Skeletor controls me, He-Man could kill him. What if He-Man actually did kill him and took over as the new Superman?
That'd be really weird.
Could be better than Bendis's run.
But that you brought up a good point. You know, what if they did that? What if Speedy stayed a junkie? You know, how would that affect Green Arrow going forward? That's a really interesting take.
Think about how Green Arrow reacted in Cry for Justice.
Yeah.
Petting a dead cat?
Man, that would be a good story to review. Have you guys read Cry for Justice League?
I have not.
It takes place... Well, spoilers, if we review, it won't matter. That's the story where Speedy gets his arm blown off. I mean, a lot more happens than that, but it ends with, I believe the final panel is Green Arrow's reaction to that.
Nice.
Yeah, you can do that one. Magic Lasso brought up a good point. What if Supergirl didn't die in Crisis? There you go. Wouldn't that be Tales from the Positive Multiverse? Because she's not dying.
Well, maybe Matrix turns into a supervillain instead of mimicking her.
Very cool. Yeah, very cool. Okay, we are getting towards the end of our 1 hour special, and one thing that we like to do is we like to do a show and tell, so to speak. Rob, do you have a show and tell you would like to? I mean, your whole background is basically a show and tell, but is there something you would like to show us? What you got there? I didn't even hear you. I'm sorry.
Second appearance of Man-Thing, because we all could use more Man-Thing in our lives. Wound up picking up over at Phil's Comics, just some old Amazing Spider-Man I was missing. I got the issue of Avengers where Black Widow joins the team. Got the issue of the first Hellcat. Got the issue where Falcon joins the team.
That's cool.
Rounding out some of my missing issues of Daredevil. Then I got this nice little reprint of the, I think it's 33 and 34, or no, 25, 26, Fantastic Four. in the King Size Annual, number 4.
That's awesome.
And these were ones that just became a hit today. I picked this up for about $2.50.
Awesome.
A bunch of people from the Time Variance Authority. Got a Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four 123. Got the issue where Jean Grey comes back in Fantastic Four. Got the Secret Wars 2 follow-up, where you get to find out that Molecule Man is basically a god. Tracy the Conductor, or Casey the Conductor, and got that for $2.50. These were 2 issues I was missing from Incredible Hulk.
Very
First,
cool.
origin of Thunderbolt Ross, and the first female MODOK. But to me, I was just missing those in the run. First cameo of Obadiah Stane. I was missing these 2 issues in my Marvel Premiere run. So at least I picked those up. And this I just put up against the wall. You might have seen this in the background. I picked this up. First appearance of Firelord, and then I got the origin of Firelord 306.
That's awesome, man.
I picked up this past week.
You've got quite the collection.
I'm an addict.
Yeah. I think
Rob,
we all
those were some awesome books, but this is a DC show, so that's one demerit. One demerit.
One demerit.
Just playing.
No,
Just
you're right.
playing with you.
Yeah. Tim, you got anything?
Sure, I'll show a couple things. I'm just going to show this off. Dave would call this a Alan Grant figure. And I also picked up this. I'm excited about.
Green Lantern Batman. That's kind of neat.
Yeah. And then I left it out of the room. I got a couple of these Build-A-Figures. This is Rookie. But all the way across the room, I got the Anti-Monitor, and it's freaking amazing. And then I'll show a couple books I actually just got today. I got the B cover to Batman Beyond 20. This is the first Robin Beyond.
Oh.
I had to have this cover. Didn't want the A. And this, I need to look up. It's one of the first appearances, don't know the number, but Teen Titans 48, early appearance of the Joker's daughter. And as you could see, it even calls her the Harley Quinn because she was what they based Harley Quinn off of when they made her.
I did not know that. I did not know that.
Yep.
Early appearance of Bumblebee, one of the first women of color that was part of the Teen Titans.
Yes. Dave, what do you got for us? Anything cool?
I don't really have a book show this week. I couldn't think of anything to show that I haven't already shown. So
your background is just as cool as a show and tell. I love looking at all your small boxes there, all the cool stuff you got on the wall. It's awesome.
It's still very much a work in progress. So I've got a lot of work. What you can't see is the other side of this room that's just covered in boxes all across the floor. So it's supposed to finish off behind me here. I
definitely want to take a quick second and shout out your other video where you talk about collecting in the year 2020. So we get to see a lot of your collection. If anybody hasn't seen it, definitely check it out. You've got quite the collection that I'm very jealous of.
Thanks. Yeah, that video actually has totally blown up on me. I think it's over 5,000 views now. It's crazy.
It's very cool. It's very cool.
All it is just it was totally spur of the moment. I didn't plan it out. I was just I feel like doing a video. So I walked around my room.
It's awesome. You have a great area. Your collection is amazing. It really is.
Dude, just one of your collections is impressive. Seeing Star Wars, the figures, the comics, all that together.
Yeah. I've got plans for it still. So, like I said, it's a work in progress. So you can see that wall isn't even complete yet because I had a rack there before, and I've switched over to this drawer system. But
how do you like the drawer system, by the way?
I love it.
Okay.
It was. I looked into so many different things. The drawer system is absolutely perfect because I can move that. I can rearrange it to whatever I need. And I can access the books, and it really did get them out of the way. So
very cool.
I had them stacked before, but you can't access them. The third one down, you can't get to without pulling the top ones off. So with the drawers, you can just pull them right out.
Awesome.
So the one book I do have that I want to talk about, it's not really anything special. In fact, you can go pick it up on the comic stands today because it just came out, was Detective 1020. This was actually my cover pick for the week. I love this cover.
That is a hot cover.
It is so cool. So, and I actually did read this book. So this is the one book from this week that I've had time to read so far. And it's a great read. It's basically, it starts with Two-Face. And he's taken out like these, I think they're like criminal coin dealers or something. And of course, he flips the coin. He's like, yeah, you lost. And so he's like, you should have taken the deal. And he murders them. But in the process, he gets all shot up. So he goes to this hospital. And the doctor ends up hurting him. So he flips the coin again. Doctor loses. Doctor dies. And then these guys come and show up to clean up the mess, like burn down the hospital and stuff. So Batman gets there and is like, who are these guys? And it flips back to Harvey Dent. And he's basically doing this like a religious like service with all of these people. And they're all in black and white suits, like split down the middle. And he's got their faces are all scarred up on one half. And then he's giving them like you would communion wafers, only it's like scarred up coins in their mouth, on their tongue. It was really weird.
Who did that cover on that?
I believe it's Walker and Hennessy.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and we got Tomasi on this book still too. But yeah, and that's how it ends. It's the Church of Two-Face. So
that's very cool.
Pretty weird. It was a good book.
That's very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. The only thing I have to show is a book that I've actually been working on for signatures. I think I might have shown it once or twice before.
Oh wow!
Is Batman Blank, and the story behind this is, I mean, it's something you would give to kids, and they would literally make their own comic book because every page in here is blank. So what I have been doing is every time I go to a convention. Anytime there's a Batman artist or a Batman writer there, I'm going to get them to sign somewhere in this book. So eventually I'm going to have...
Remark.
What's that?
I see a Tom King remark.
Oh.
Yes. You do see a Tom King.
Where? Which one?
On the very bottom right. With
That's
the little
one
Batman.
Mayor, Tony.
Yeah. That's okay. I also have a Marvel. Actually, I'll give it to you. Does anybody know these signatures?
No.
So, in no particular order, it is Tom King, Marv Wolfman, Mitch Gradus, Lee Weeks, Brian Azzarello, and Peter Tomasi.
Oh wow!
Nice.
Yeah, and that was just at one convention. So a lot of talent there. So that's what I got going on. So this book's going to become something pretty unique, and I have it for Superman and Wonder Woman, but I have not started those books. But this is, I'm literally going to fill this page with nothing.
Are you going to be going to?
I might be going to possibly Keystone Comic-Con, but Baltimore's my big one for the year. So that's where I get the majority of them. But that's my cool show.
Yeah, that's a really, really cool idea.
Yeah, and eventually
it's myself. You want DC Heat? I can do DC Heat real quick.
Right?
In order of heat.
Eventually what I want to do is when that book gets full is I want to submit it for CBCS to get all the signatures. Yeah, there you go. CBCS to get the signatures verified. One thing I will say about this
oh, wow.
stupid Hell Arisen #3 is some ding dong somehow got his hands on an entire unopened box of Hell Arisen 3, 160 issues, and immediately put the entire box on eBay. And starting bid was like $19,000, or you could get the buy it now price for $45,000.
You could buy them individually and sell them for a lot less.
Dude, I was on a Slabbed Heroes looking around today, and I think one was like 300 or 600, something crazy, and it said sold out. Like somebody paid that for a Slabbed Hell Arisen.
I
forget now, but it was in the hundreds.
Yeah, that's a
I
book.
thought I saw them on eBay in like the 45 to 55 range.
That's a book that went straight up and is going to come just down just as fast.
Oh yeah, no. So like that book in particular, that Hell Arisen, is the one I want to play with it. Like I'm actually doing a little experiment because I did not get that. And normally I would go get it, like out of a panic. I'm not doing it this time, and I want to see what happens. I actually want to see like 3 months from now, can I go pick up that book?
Oh yeah, it's just like the Batman Damn #1 for you couldn't get a copy for less than $100, and now they're on eBay again for like 15.
Dude, I love this article I read. It was, I think it was on Bleeding Cool from an LCS owner saying he wouldn't even sell it unless you had ordered 1 and 2 from him. Because he's like, this book was a flop. Nobody bought 1 and 2, and now 3 sold out. Like,
the worst part is I have 1 and 2, but I don't have 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
You had 1 and 2.
My LCS is pretty awesome. Shout out Comics Connection. If you legitimately have that on your pull list, you're guaranteed a copy, as long as they weren't shorted on their end. But if
that should always be the case.
Yeah,
I can't believe that we have to even like shout that out. Like,
isn't it
that
crazy
the
to think
contract
about?
with the pull box? Like, I've never had an LCS not, and they wouldn't even get a single penny of mine if they ever pulled something like that.
You know
say
what
that,
happened?
but
My last LCS, their deal was, we promise to have your books. If we don't, we will go on eBay and get you a copy. You know how my last pull ended with them? 3 weeks in, they didn't get my books, had Marvel in my box, and never got my books, and I never went back. And that was during Death Metal. Like, it was two issues in the Death Metal, and they were missing all the one-shots. Like, we can't get them. It was like, oh my gosh.
I've never had that experience. I've heard of it, but like I walked into my store last week, and like I hadn't been in a while, and they're like, yeah, was it Batman? What was the one, 89? What was the cameo of that? They walked in, they're like, oh yeah, here you go. And I didn't even realize what it was. They're just like, yeah, I mean, it was mine. Like,
I've heard about comic shops like those and unicorns and Bigfoot, but I've never seen any of them.
Really?
Yeah, and like every LCS in this area, true LCS, has screwed me on a pull box. I go to a fantasy shop that isn't really a comic book shop. That's where I get my books.
Oh.
And like literally, you'll walk in there on a new comic book day. They'll have like 11 books on the shelf for everybody.
And that's such a mistake because honestly, like someone like me, I would never go back. And well, you've seen my Fine videos.
Yeah,
I get a lot.
Yeah,
it's sad that I have to.
Everything comes down in price eventually. I mean, this was at $120, and now you can probably get them for about $50, $60. I look at print runs more than anything. This will not be a $50 book for very long. Luckily, I paid cover price because I have a good comic shop. But out of the 2 of these, this one has the lowest print run, and unless something happens with her, I'm seeing it become another Catwoman issue 23 all over again. First Joker's gone. You just brought her up. How much can you get that issued for now? Probably $3 to $5. But back in the day, it was like $20, $30. That was the punchline of the day. And the punchline will eventually be the joke was on us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the hype is so big because think about Harley's first appearance isn't coming down, and everyone thinks it's going to be the next Harley, and it's not.
No,
but you can't predict the next Harley. That's the problem.
I like what Thunder God said that I still think Punchline will be dead before Tanyan's run is over, killed by Harley. Can you imagine, like 1, 2, and she's dead? That's it. Never talk about her again.
What is she getting? 3 cameos before her first real full appearance? Yeah. Wouldn't it be something if like the next issue after her real first appearance, she's dead?
That would be so funny.
That'd be hilarious.
So funny.
Something people aren't picking up, though, is that Tinian keeps saying that Punchline is a really bad dude. Punchline's a really bad guy. Punchline is trans.
Oh, really? Oh, I think I saw something like that. Like, she might actually be a character we've already seen before, just different, like in a different get-up.
Yeah, what if? I mean, sky's the limit.
Like, not that it's this, but like, what if it was Zaz and now it's Punchline? Something like that. Like a old character. Yeah, I'm not saying it is Zaz. Just an example. Like, It's an old character that's now Punchline.
That's the rumor. Everybody spread it.
Yeah.
Victor Zaz is Punchline.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
It's actually Deathstroke. So Deathstroke is Punchline.
Lost a lot of weight and became feminine.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. But
real quick before we go,
yeah,
I just want to shout out, if you're not reading my favorite current DC book, you should be reading Batman Beyond. It's got the story going with the new Batwoman, which spoilers. I'm about to spoil. If anyone don't want to hear it, click off now. Which is Dick Grayson's daughter. Well, I've already spoiled her for you, Dave. Couple shows ago. I'm loving it. Pick it up. Good stuff. Get it while it ain't, going like Punchline. You can still get it a cover now.
That's funny. But,
what's funny is that could be like the book that ends up going somewhere. Punchline,
right?
Yeah. That's what I said on when I posted that on Instagram. She could be a permanent like Batgirl, Batwoman Beyond. And we just had her first appearance in 25. I think it was issue 40. I just showed 41. 40s where we found out she was Batwoman. So that could be a book that's
how old are they?
Or something. Huh?
How old are they?
This year, aren't they?
Yeah, this year.
Okay.
That was issue 41 that came out last week. And
okay. So they're still on shelves, 40 and 41.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And you could get 25 on, I think I looked at my comic shop, it was still cover or maybe a buck or two above. Yeah.
Reasonable. Very reasonable.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, that's our hour. We went slightly over, but that's okay. I want to thank everyone for coming in. I definitely want to thank our special guest, Mr. Rob Wurst. Real quick,
thank you for coming on, man. Those books were amazing. You showed. I know we were talking over them, but they were good.
I kind of tanked everything by showing a bunch of Marvel. I figured might as well show my DC.
I was just messing with you, man. It's okay to show whatever you want.
My last name Wurst. I have a thick skin.
What's that?
Do you want to shout out your social media one more time, Rob, for anyone who's not familiar with you?
Sure. For those people that are listening at the very end here, my social media for Instagram is Rob Wurst, WORST_NNM, stands for Not Near Mint, which is part of my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Rob Wurst, just like my name. And Twitter, Rob Wurst. My Twitter and Instagram, I basically show the same things. So it's new books, old books, middle of the road books, key books, first appearances, origins, stuff that people like, things that interest me. Because if it interests me, hopefully it interests other people as well. Thank you for having me on, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Tim, social media.
So real quick, while I have you guys here talking to you, I did a video this morning called How Big of a Comic Book Nerd Are You? And I tagged you guys. So if you get a chance, Dave.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot.
If you get a chance, I know we're all busy. I'd love to see a video response. Basically, I got the idea from OG Geek seeing his response to one called How Big of a Pop Douchebag Are You? And anyone that's listening or wants to do it, I have all the questions in the description of that video.
Douchebag.
Yeah, it's basically 25 questions. Every yes is a point. How many points do you get, just for fun? And I'm only on YouTube, Instagram. YouTube, I'm the Comic Collector. On Instagram, I am Tim the Comic Collector.
Very cool. Dave, sorry, I forgot your name for like a second. I had like an aneurysm. I don't know.
Hey Tony, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you as well. Anything? Your social media? Anything? I know you're always doing something cool. You always got something cooking on some haul videos.
Yeah.
Green Lantern Part 4.
I've got a lot of videos going. In fact, the work behind me is all building up the number of books I got to go rebag and board and catalog them all. But I've got I'm Comic Food 2814 on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Gmail. I've got some new Comic Find videos I'm going to be putting together soon. I really do hope to get a Green Lantern video posted soon, the next part of that series. And like I said, tomorrow, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have this auction going. So I'm a little nervous about it, but I'm sure it will be fine.
You going to have DC books in that, Dave?
Yeah.
What time do you think it would be? Just wondering.
Probably
Sorry to put you on the spot, but
yeah, probably sometime around noon Eastern. I'll probably start it.
and sorry to cut everyone off, but before we go, we have to congratulate Dave. I believe since last episode he hit 1K subscribers.
No,
Definitely well deserved. Very awesome. Congratulations, Dave.
You can pick anything you want off of Rob's wall.
Yeah.
Can you blow
That's the gift now. Anything off of Rob's wall. Anyone who hits 1,000.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's 1,000, man. That's awesome. So how long have you been making videos?
I need to go back and look. It was sometime early 2019. So.
Early 2019. Yeah.
I think it was about the same time I came on. Right about. I started a year ago in March.
Because well, you were one of the first videos I ever watched. So yeah.
Yeah, and you were like, we literally come up together. Like as soon as when I did your contest, I even said it when I saw your avatar and your name 2814. It's like what's that movie with Will Ferrell, the brothers? Like I think we just become best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Step brothers. Yeah.
Step brothers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Say your favorite dinosaur on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Velociraptor.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Oh man.
I actually took my stepbrothers to go see Step Brothers, so that was kind of cool.
That's hilarious. That's awesome.
Yeah, but
2814. That, of course, is the sector of space that Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern, patrols. That includes Earth.
Yeah.
I thought that was your weekly comic book budget. You know, $2,800.
We didn't do a real trivia tonight. I got trivia for the 2 Green Lantern nerds. How big of a Green Lantern nerd are you guys?
Okay.
Sinestros, what's his sector of space?
Oh my gosh.
Top of your head.
Hold on.
I can't do without looking. I used to know this. I can't do it.
You got this.
Isn't it like
3 or 5? Math is hard.
it's like 20?
You know it.
Isn't it 23 something? 2317? I don't know.
98.15.
I do not know.
Well, I'm way off then because I was going to say it was like 2389 or something.
1417.
14.
1417. That was a good year. 1417.
Yeah. That is a good bit of trivia. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. But as for me and my channel, obviously, if you're watching, if you're not subscribed, please do. I'm Tony Fett. I got a lot of projects coming up. Panels of the Keystone. I'm still editing really super long videos that are only going to be about 10 minutes long. So I suck at editing. Also, another real quick thing I want to let everybody know, we're still doing the tournament. I'm just waiting on gift cards. They should be here this week. I thought they were going to be here last week, but that's okay. No problem. He's probably on vacation or something. And one thing I want to also highlight is I'm probably going to make this once a week or every other week or something. It's called 1 minute autographs. So I'm going to pick a book out of my hundreds of autographs that I have and talk about how I got autographed, who it's autographed by, that cool stuff. It's literally going to be a 1 minute video.
Awesome.
So hopefully I'll get several hundred minutes worth of content.
Yeah. I could catch on because that's a good idea.
And
hopefully.
Timing every one of those videos.
I'm sure you will with a stopwatch. 1 minute and 5 seconds. You need to change the name of your title on this video. 1 minute and 5 second autographs, right? But that's okay. I want to thank Magic Lasso for coming in. We got Thunder God, I Collect a Lot, Super Russ. If I miss you, I'm sorry. Rob, you're in the chat. You confused me for a second.
Scott Neely.
Lady Fantastic. I forgot. Lady Fantastic. Yeah. Snot. Gnarly. I'm sorry, man.
Scott Neely. He was
Scott
here.
Neely. Is it Scott? Oh, I said Snot.
Yeah.
Anyway, everybody in the chat, if I missed your name, I apologize, but we want to definitely thank every single one of you for coming in, especially those who come in every week. We want to give you a special cool kudos thank you. But we next week, whose channel are we on? We are back on Dave's.
We are on my channel.
We're on Tim's. Okay.
And I'm just going to tell everyone watching, don't miss that episode. You're going to want to watch it. You're
going to want to watch it. Stay tuned. Yep. But okay, we are signing off for now. Thanks everybody for coming by.